Welcome to the Council of Moms. I'm your host, Lisa Valentine Clark, and I have assembled a crack team of moms with wisdom, with enthusiasm, with experience to bless the world. Listen, we've got a lot on our plate as moms, and we need each other. We can't do it alone, so you don't have to. And the Council of Moms is here to help, here to assemble different ideas, experiences, mothering experiences, personalities, all to give you ideas to benefit you and your specific family. The Council of Moms, motherhood isn't our whole personality, but it is why we're so funny. Council of Moms, we know a thing or two, and only a thing or two according to our teenagers. But we do know that. And as always, Council of Moms, made with real moms. Here are our real moms today, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Juhi Raizada. I'm a pediatrician and a parent coach in the season of raising two teens of my own. Being the passenger princess, holding my breath when my new teen drives is fun.
Wow. Good job. We are here for
Thank you.
I'm Allison Dayton, and I am the mom of three, and I have one delightful granddaughter. And I work with families who have LGBTQ children, and especially moms.
Especially mamas.
Especially moms.
Love it. I'm Stephanie Roth, and I have 6 kids altogether. I have 3 in one group in their 20s and 3 in one group in their tween teen stage. So doing it again. Here we go.
You've got a little bit of everything. I like that about you. Yes. Okay. Well, we've got the right group here together. And here is today's question. Dear Council of Moms, our teenagers love money. Specifically, our money. More specifically, spending it. Some of them will be out of the house soon, and I want them to be financially independent. Also, it wouldn't bother me if they started being a little bit more financially independent now. Yes, that thing you saw on TikTok is very cool. Use your own money. Just wondering if anybody's been here and what works. How do you prepare teenagers to be financially independent adults? Man, is this a big question. What do you got, Council of Moms?
This is a hard one.
It's so hard. It's hard.
It's changed so much. Like when we were kids, there wasn't, other than like a piggy bank, or a divided piggy bank, there weren't very great resources. But nowadays,
do you remember like you'd have the jars and you'd be like for spending money, for saving, for a special thing.
Yeah. And like, I'm not sure that ever really, I mean, it's there, but our money's not even here anymore. Like, we're not even going to have pennies soon. So it's really different.
Okay, to answer this question, how you prepare your teenagers to be financially independent adults, it's not just about like saving and spending. You've got to teach them, or I wish I would have taught them better about compound interest, about interest rates, about investments, mutual funds, the stock market. Like I wish it would have been a bigger thing of now I find myself having more open conversations about like Social Security, 401ks, mutual accounts, and things like that as they are getting their first jobs, or they're saying like, oh, how do I spend? What is a credit score? Why is it important? Why would I take out a loan? Why wouldn't I?
Right.
I mean, all of these concepts are just, it seems so much more important than just saving spending.
Exactly.
Seriously,
And
right?
also a little bit harder to teach because of the quick dopamine effects that social media and scrolling is causing. It's really hard to teach delayed gratification in this day and age.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so, but I think the other thing would be which I try to practice in my home is to, obviously, as a parent, you always feel like you don't want to spoil the child by just giving everything they want. And then obviously that's the question of this mom is, how do I raise a financially responsible individual, is to, we always in our home talk about needs and wants. And so the needs are going to be 100% met, but wants are going to be, helped with, but have to be earned in our home.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and we don't pay like for doing chores around the house, because
Okay.
those are, you're part of the house, you're living in the house, so you do have to do, you do have to keep your room clean, and you do have to help out around the house with your laundry and dishwasher and other chores. But then we talk about ways to like earn money, like say lemonade stands or anything else, like teenagers, getting a job, things like that. That
Babysitting.
helps. Yes. Pet sitting, babysitting, working at, like
Part-time jobs.
part-time jobs at a fast food restaurant, things like that. Because I feel like and same goes for me, like if I work hard and I earn something and I buy something for myself, I respect it more and I take
Yeah.
care of it better than just kind of, getting it handed to me. And so I think the whole thing about this is like I feel passionately about teaching children about abundance mindset and scarcity mindset, because I don't want money to be like scary. Like,
Right.
oh
Yeah.
no, like
I think
we
that's an
can't.
important point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So my efforts are always to just say, okay, let's look at it and how can you earn this, versus like saying, no, you don't, you don't deserve it, or you don't just get whatever you want. Like I try
Yeah.
not to use those words. And I try to make it like a more positive experience. Like my son, he wanted PS5, and there was like an old piano sitting, and I was like, okay, well, maybe you could figure something out. Maybe we could get some money by selling this, and then use it for your PS5. And it worked out. Like he posted it on Facebook Marketplace. It sold within 24 hours, and the price was exactly the price of PS5.
Oh,
And
that's
so it was such a like gratifying experience for him and for me, because I felt like I just didn't give it away, and he was able to figure out a way to actually, earn it.
Yeah.
And so it was a win-win situation.
Yeah,
So
I
good.
feel like that's what motivates kids at any age. Is it has to be something that they want, right? If there's something that they really want, then that's where you can come in and be like, okay, well, let's discuss different ideas about how you might get that
Right.
thing. My son, when he really, really wanted a 3D printer. And this is when they were first coming out. So they were
Oh, yeah.
pretty expensive,
Cool.
right? He was
That's so
14.
cool.
So he
Yeah.
couldn't really go out and get a job. But he came to me and he was like, this is what I really want. And this is why I want it. And I was like, I love that. Okay. So what do you think you could do to earn the money? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, what kinds of things are you good at? He's like, I'm good at building Legos. And he was really good at building Legos.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. I said, you have a lot of experience with younger children because you have 3 younger siblings and you're really good at playing with them. And he's like, oh, yeah. I said, what about doing something like a Lego camp during the summer? And he was like,
Oh,
So-
wow.
oh, so like, what would that look like? So we sat down and I had him do it, and I just kind of coached him on, well, this is, how long do you want the camp to last, and how much would you charge, and would you need Legos there for them to use, and if so, do you want them to bring a set or have that be in the price of the Lego camp so that they have a specific set to work with? And he was so excited. He ran Lego camps all through his teenage years. They were so
Oh,
successful
What a great thing.
I bet.
that he didn't actually get like a fast food job because he made more money doing Lego camps. And he did a great job with
You're
them.
teaching him how to be an entrepreneur too.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
so great.
It was so good. And he just loved it. And so he bought one year he bought his 3D printer, one year he bought his own saxophone so that he could play in the jazz band. Like he really got it, right? Now, which was it was so exciting, but they have to be motivated. And
Yeah.
like my three youngest children aren't motivated for anything. I'm like,
I know.
oh, come on,
That's such
guys.
a good point, though, like the motivation for it. And I like what Juhi said too about like you want to have this like abundance mindset. I had a good friend tell me that she stopped saying, "Oh, we can't afford that" to her kids. She would just instead say, like, "That's not on our list today." Like, you know, when they were little, like, I want that," instead of like, "We can't afford that," of being like, "That's not on our list." But really by giving them that this idea that yeah, you're going to have to adjust your choices and how you work and when you do, but you can afford anything if you're willing to, you know, sort of sacrifice for
Right.
it. And
You
to
can
know
put the
that.
work
And I
in.
think having them be financially independent is also teaching them to own their own choices and to know what all of their options are. So I love that story, Stephanie, because it feels like you said, hey, you've got more choices about how you could get this than maybe you think. Let's brainstorm together. Let's be a resource together. And then that is like an abundance mindset. I think
Totally.
one of the things that I've done with my younger kids that I didn't do with my older kids that I wish I did was being more transparent about the bills an adult will pay. You know, so I will say, this is how much car insurance is. This is how much our mortgages. This is how much utilities are. You also have to pay for, property taxes. And this is how much just for maintenance. Like you got to change the filters. You've got to, you know, mow the lawn. You've got to like
The
all
water
these things.
heater's going to break.
Water heater's going to break. And, you know, I will find myself saying things like, I like to have a savings account because something always goes wrong with the car or the house. And it's like I always need like money for the unexpected. So I have an unexpected fund because I lived without one for so long and it created so much stress and anxiety. And where is it going to come from? And now that I have money saved in an emergency fund for this, when it happens, I'm still bummed, but it's not as stressful. And I try to teach them that about how money can give you peace of mind if you live and spend less than you earn or less than you have saved, and why. And I try to give like real life examples. I think before I was like, oh, I don't want to tell them how much our mortgage is, or like, I don't want them to know how much money I make or how much money I have saved. And now I just tell them all, and I tell them real numbers. And I don't, you know, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it does give them a sense of, okay, this is like a middle class sort of like situation. Do I want more, or will I make different decisions? But I do think specifics matter more than I thought they did when I first started parenting about
Oh,
money.
I love that.
Well, and I'll tell you, when I was first married, my dad handed me my insurance. Like he paid it, you know, there you pay car insurance for like 6 months, right? And I had a job, so I had health insurance, but he handed me the car insurance when it was due again. And I was like, what? Oh,
Yes.
my
See, I
gosh.
had a
And
shock
we
like
were,
that too. And I was like, oh,
yeah. But if I had known when I was 16, that would have been great. I would have been like, oh, that's coming. You know, we made our kids save money for a down payment. Not for a down payment, but for the what is it called with insurance? Like if they got in an auto accident,
oh, yeah.
the
Oh, the
What's the word?
deductible.
the deductible.
deductible,
So
yeah.
it was like $500. So they had to have $500 saved up in case they got in a car accident. They would have to pay the deductible because we wanted them to have. We provided cars that were ours, but we wanted them to have like some skin in the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
such a
like,
great
look,
idea.
Yeah, and you know, they take when you actually work with insurance, it's a little different than you hand them $500. But the kids knew that driving a car was expensive because $500 to kids is like to a 16-year-old's like $500,000,
So
right?
much.
Like that's so hard to come up with. So we made them. It was one of the only times we were really good about like, you need to do this before you can do that.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, we didn't have resources when we were kids. We had like the piggy bank. Now you can set up teen accounts.
Yeah.
And they can get on their little Wells Fargo or whatever app, and they can be like,
That's
I
been
only
really
have
helpful
$4
for our
left.
family.
Right? And they have a debit card. So they can, now it's in their phone, but they can debit back and forth, and they can Venmo. But it's all like they can control it as they're learning in junior high and high school about finances, like this
But then
much.
they make different choices when they're like using their own money versus, hey, mom, just buy this for me.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
I-
oh,
one-
do
one
I
of my
really need
friends-
this? I was just saying, if it's my money, if we go to Target, and we've talked about using her debit card for her things, then the shopping haul is much smaller than the shopping haul that happens with my money. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, I do want to buy things for her. It's not always so transactional, but it's more about teaching the mindset as, they're coming in the real world. And with the debit card, sometimes it could be a double-edged sword because now it's kind of invisible, almost like an invisible money.
That is true, for sure.
And so one of the days I sat her down because she was running low on her funds. And I was like, let's itemize and let's see where exactly the money is going. Is it going on a daily Starbucks? Or is it because I mean, that's the thing
That'll
with
drain
teenagers,
fast.
right? Yeah. And so it's really important for them to kind of to step back and sit with us and have us show them where exactly the money is going, because it's like Amazon, like it's like, oh yeah, packages come every day, like let's just order it, but they're not realizing that it's money. Like TikTok Shop is such a thing, and they just feel like, oh yeah, let's just put the card number and it's gonna arrive. Well, it's real money. It's not hard money, but it's still real money. So I think that concept is also something that it's becoming more important to teach in this day and age.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. My mom was so good, not until my 20s, and I, needed it. But she was so good at teaching me how to budget and how to have different categories and how to take the money and split it up into the different categories. And for me, that was actually freeing because I could have a fun category. And I could have some money, even
okay.
if it was
So
only
it was just all
$15, right? I could put it in there, and I knew that I had $15 because I was a poor 20-something, that I had $15 that I could spend during the month for fun, right? And but having those categories for me was super helpful. In kind of establishing the way that I spent money and also keeping that abundance mindset, because I could make categories that were important to me. And even if they didn't have very much in them, I still had a category for it. I have a friend and she actually took her budget and she divvied it out to her children, like what she would spend on them, and had them take care of their school stuff, their clothing, their shoes, their all of the things,
Everything.
right? Everything. They took care of themselves with the money that she put into their thing. And they had to be in charge of it, right? And I thought that is amazing. And I am positive that my 3 children that I am currently raising right now would take all of that money and spend it on what they wanted and go to school with shoes with holes in them and never.
So
and,
would you
have
be
3
willing
pair of
to
underwear.
let them do that? Like the one expensive hoodie or the pair of
Right? So hard.
because I know some parents who were like, okay, well, you're going to have to live with the consequences. And I know other parents who are like, no, you need new underwear. And that's not
right. I know. I haven't been able.
So
I
I have a
haven't
hard
been able
time
to
deciding.
do it for myself. I think it's such a great idea, but I'm like,
Totally.
I know that my children will not be responsible with their money. And it's gonna look bad if they show up to school with, big holes in their shoes and Because they
But
would.
they don't care, you know?
They don't care.
Or I know a couple of my kids who would be like, yeah, I'm fine with that consequence. It's
Whatever.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care if I have holes in
But
my
do you
shoe.
think they'll get to the other side of it? Like if, let's say
Yes,
if you
I do.
like, yeah, it's about
do.
letting go, right? Sometimes, which is really, really hard. I mean, don't get
Sure.
me wrong,
It is
but
hard.
Yeah.
once like they get to it and they actually do it, and then it's going to be there on the other side of it. And I don't know. I don't know what the right or wrong is, but
I think it's
just
a good point. Because it's so much. I hate to say it, but it's so much about us, right? Like
yeah.
how our kids show up, and
What
we
do
want
you
them to
mean?
look. Or maybe it's just about me, not you.
No,
three.
I know.
But
I'm the
like,
same way.
No.
right?
we're all in the same
I'm
boat.
totally teasing.
Yeah, like if your kids go commando to school because they have no clean underwear, like
Right?
that's not going to be
That
very
looks
comfy.
bad on
but
you. That looks like bad
right,
mom.
or their shirts are they only have 3 shirts that are decent, or whatever.
yeah.
Like, so it's hard because that's the letting go part, is like letting go of what we want.
But
in
it goes
them.
back to the original question, though, of like you're teaching them or trying to prepare teenagers to be financially independent adults.
Yeah.
And so
Exactly.
there is this element of it's safer for them to make some financial mistakes while they're still under your
little.
roof, and
Yeah.
you can still, they're not like so dire, than when they're young adults and they're on their own and the consequences are bigger. You know?
Totally. Well, that's why I liked the teen account, because I can get an alert too. Like you're down on money. Are you okay? Like, and so I'm able to help them. But let's face it, the best lessons are the ones we really blow hard. Like the ones that we really
Right.
mess up.
They sure
And
are
that we-
memorable.
Yeah, and as a parent, you can live in the uncomfortableness of saying, "I'm sorry, you don't have any more money for the month. That's a bummer." Okay, so just in transparency, I was terrible about that because I don't want my kids to miss out on anything, and all the things. But if you can let them live in as long as it's not dire to their future, like let them live in their mistakes. Best lessons ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Just hard.
So true.
One of a success story that I had was I had a kid who, wanted to get a car and had a down payment for it, but wanted me to co-sign on a loan to get because they didn't have any credit, to use my good credit to get a good like interest rate. And so we had a real heart-to-heart about, okay, can you pay this, monthly payment? Because if you don't, or you skip, or you're late, it affects me. Are we really, my credit score is a
hard.
gift to you that I'm going to let you use. And, they were an older teen. And then for the length of the loan was an adult, and ended up never being late, always paying on time, and it was a success story, right? And saying, hey, thank you for saving me thousands of dollars over the length of this, for doing that. And I was like, thank you for being responsible and not being late and doing this. And it ended up being a good way, I think, a really nice transition of help, because he was the one that came to me with the proposal, and we made like an agreement on it, and he kept it up. So sometimes that does work, and I was prepared to, I was always looking like, did you pay it? And
Yeah.
and sometimes parents are able to do that, and I found myself in a position to be able to do that. Sometimes you can't, and so teaching them those principles and the why behind it. So that was a great conversation for us to talk about credit scores, to talk about interest rates, to talk about when to take out a loan, when not to, about how to start saving for your next car or car repairs and things like that. In the meantime, it had a lot of other larger financial. It was a great opportunity to talk about larger financial issues, because there was more skin in the game, right? For that.
Right.
And it was like what Juhi said, like what they really wanted, it was based on what, his choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish that we talked about money more, openly with our kids. And I mean, we don't have to be, so specific about the exact numbers, but just the concepts are, not taught in school. And it's just such a basic life skill,
Yeah.
which, when I came out in the real world, yeah, I mean, I was a physician. I, was making money, but I didn't know how to like handle money. And I had to learn some steps. Either, I was going in the mode of like, let me just save everything, or I was going, so like it was really hard for me to like get that balance of like, it's okay to have fun, which is why I love your mom's idea, Stephanie, to have those categories, because we do have to teach our children to have fun and spend and go
Yeah.
on vacations too, but responsibly, so that they
Right.
can know
Yeah.
like what their limits are. And that's what I'm trying to do with my teens right now, is like not to like just go in the very nitpicks of it, but be open about here's like what this costs. If we're going on a vacation, like this is kind of like our budget, this is out of our budget, things like that. I think just those words kind of start ringing a bell, and then they start paying more attention to these things too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
One of the
definitely.
complications
Yeah.
is the personality of the child, right? Like I have kids who are
Yes.
like, they save everything, and then I have a couple that are like I want that now, and I don't care. I'm not even thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
Like that's really hard. Like
Yes.
very impulsive children. I have one child that hardly spends any money, and I have the
Yeah.
the other two who incidentally are ADD. I don't know if that is a factor, but they're very
I
impulsive
think that's a
in their spending.
factor.
That
I
is a
have
factor.
I do
kids
too.
like that too.
sure.
They
Yeah.
money just burns a hole
Right?
right through their pockets.
Well,
Yeah.
and
And I'm one
ADD.
that I like to save. I like to
Yeah.
save.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I do not like
Yeah.
to save.
Yeah.
I have a hard time
like to
spending
spend.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had
I
a
mean,
little more of that.
like I have to like, yeah, all like second, third,
But how
fourth,
great to be
eighth
transparent
guess
about
whether
that
or
with
not
your
I
kids.
buy something.
Yeah.
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 Well, and to
And
be let them know what their style is. Like this is
Yes.
just a
I think
style.
that's so helpful.
It's not a reflection of you. It's like I'm like this, dad's like that.
Yeah.
And be honest about it so they're not having to like figure it out. Cuz how would they compare?
Right. How do they
They don't
know?
know what their friends are doing with money or their siblings, and
That's so
it
true.
tends to be.
Yeah, we have to
so
talk
be
about
really
it
honest.
more. And I think it's okay to give more specific information than maybe past generations did, where it was like you do not talk about money and that's kind of like in bad form. I think it's too important. I think we need to talk about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I think so.
The other thing I think is important to talk about is not like if the kid comes to you with something on TikTok Shop, like for example, this mom's, is to like, I used to be like, I would just like, oh no, you don't need that. And,
Yeah.
just trying to like, but rather like have an open conversation about it. And sometimes like if we just listen to where they're coming from, because I mean, are they trying to fit in with their friends, or
Or
where
is this something they
this-
really want?
right? So maybe we can put it on a list, or maybe whatever, like figuring out ways together. I think creates like a healthy relationship with money. And
Yeah.
I have done this in the past, like where I've talked with my daughter about like even like cost per use of a clothing.
Right.
Because like
Oh,
if she's buying like super expensive leggings, I mean, I sometimes have cringed, but like, she has used them till eternity. So I am okay with it. Like,
Right.
so like rationalizing it in my mind also has helped me like make decisions and continue collaborating with her rather than like shutting down. Oh no, we don't buy
no.
these expensive,
Make the
So-
decisions I want you to make. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah,
Well, this has
that's
been such a
smart.
great
Judgment
discussion. We
out of
could
it.
go on and on about like this is one of those questions where you're like, oh, we need to talk about this more, because I'm just thinking,
This is a big one.
It's a big one, and it changes as your kids change and as you change, and like your financial situation changes. Like I'm just thinking of, the way that I saw finances, even just for myself and my family, was very different when my kids were younger to when it is now, and like our
for sure.
attitudes change too. And so you've got to put that in consideration. So this is a great topic that you could speak on for a long time with your own Council of Moms, which is one of the reasons why, I started this, is because I just felt like I had benefited so much from having moms with different ideas and different backgrounds that could share their ideas to make, me a better mom as I'm trying to, figure it out as we all go along. So thank you so much, Allison, Juhi, and Stephanie, for being here and for really being honest about that. And let's keep the conversation going. If you're listening to the Lisa Show or Council of Moms, wherever you are, and you've just stumbled on us, Council of Moms is also on YouTube. You can see what we look like and see us rolling our eyes and making faces at each other. But you can also listen to the Council of Moms wherever you get your podcasts. And if you do like it, please subscribe to it so that we can fold you into this council and find you, and share it with another mom. Share it with the people that you're trying to create a council with as well. And as always, we love your questions, and please send them. This is what we use for our Council of Moms. You can comment here or you can DM us on Instagram. The Council of Moms is a production of BYU Radio. We're really grateful that we're able to do it. We love it. We love all of our councils, wherever you may be. Tell us where where you're listening from, and tell us about what your Council of Moms comes up with, especially for topics like this. And as always, thank you so much, Council of Moms, made with real moms.